Philosophy. It's commenting Heidegger's Being and Time, a very famous landmark of 20th century philosophy. And I think he says somewhere that a lot of people think that the book should have been called Being and Voice, and not Being and Time. This is Mladen Dorar. Where does the voice come from? It comes from the innermost realm of our being, but at the same time, it's something that transcends us. It is in ourselves, more than ourselves, yet again, a beyond at our most intimate. This is a quote from Heidegger. Indeed, the call. Heidegger uses this word ruft, and translated as the call, l'appel. Yeah? Indeed, the call is precisely something which we ourselves have neither planned nor prepared for, nor voluntarily performed, nor have we ever done so. It calls, es ruft, against our expectations and even against our will. The call comes from me and yet from beyond me. This is Heidegger. The intimacy from which the call comes is described as unheimlich. Unheimlich, no?
Yeah.
Unheimlich.
Yeah.
Which means basically in English is translated as uncanny. Uncanny. Difficult word to translate in French. It's l'étrange, étrangeté in French. They have to double translate it. It's a word that Freud used very heavily. So the intimacy from which the call comes is described as unheimlich, uncanny. The call points forwards to Dasein's possibility, potentiality for being. And it does this as a call which comes from uncanniness. Unheimlichkeit. Again, the call, the cry, the voice, the appeal, their proper location is unheimlich, uncanny. With all the ambiguity that Freud has given this word, the internal externality, the expropriated intimacy, the extimacy, which was the term that Lacan used for the uncanny, instead of intimate, extimate. So it's inside, but it's not yours. The call is the call to exposure, the opening to being, which is opposed to a self-reflective monologue with oneself. It hinges on that which, within ourselves, one cannot appropriate, and which starkly opposes Dasein to self-consciousness. The voice is pure alterity. It prevents self-reflexivity. In this role, it even assumes a structural function closely akin to that of time, the central category of Heidegger's book. The analogy between time and voice goes so far that some readers have proposed that instead of being and time, we could rewrite or rename Heidegger's project as being and voice. And even more, if the voice is the opening towards being, the opening which extracts us from submersion in the existing things and disrupts the closed circle of self-presence and self-reflection, does it not follow that the voice ultimately coincides with being itself? Being is nothing but the opening manifested by the voice. Being is nothing but the opening manifested by the voice. And this consequence is condensed in Heidegger's later work in the metaphor of the voice of being, die Stimme des Seins. But again, where is the limit of metaphoricity? Being is accessible only through the mute, aphonic voice, die lautlose Stimme. Just want to leave it there. Makes things go around. It's basically a philosophical reflection on what is the voice. It's way beyond, of course, physiological ideas. It goes right into expression, the capacity to express, the borderlines of language, etc. For those of you who would like this.